We move on to the deadline previews today with the Calgary Flames. 5 of 32. This team is very interesting. They've been in on a lot of players. Calgary, who is currently one spot above the Buffalo Sabres at 17th, are 24, 17, and 9 for 57 points. They have scored 157 goals and have only let in 152. The Flames only have $1.6 million in cap space. However, they do have a lot of money coming off the books this offseason. A look at the unrestricted free agents. Obviously, what I meant by burning off some of that money is definitely 100% Milan Lucic, as he is carrying a $5.25 million cap hit. And thankfully, if they don't sign him and he leaves, that gives them a lot more options cap-wise. But thankfully, this year compared to last year, Calgary does not have a lot of free agents. They only have Trevor Lewis, Brett Ritchie, and Michael Stone. And then I might as well just say the RFA as well. The only RFA for this year is Connor Mackey. So comparatively speaking, when they had Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, so many other players that were expiring last season, thankfully they don't have any this year, so I guess that's good. But if I'm Calgary, I'm honestly going to buy. I'm going to try to acquire a top 6 winger, because really, that is what Calgary needs. As the Hockey News says, Calgary has been searching for a top 6 winger all season, even though the AHL team has a trio of skill forwards, 2 of them the recent first-round picks in Jacob Pelletier and Connor Zary. Obviously, those 2 players are probably the 2 biggest prospects in Calgary's prospect pool as of right now. However, they aren't expected to make the jump to the NHL until at least next season. So if I'm Calgary, I'm looking for a winger. The Hockey News lists them as being interested in Brock Besser, although I haven't seen any Brock Besser rumors whatsoever, really. I guess they are, but I really haven't seen anything. They are interested in Tyler Bertuzzi, though, winger of the Detroit Red Wings. He could definitely play a big role in Calgary's search for a winger. As well as that, Nick Ritchie has popped up in trade rumors, too. And with Brett Ritchie being expiring, and so is Nick Ritchie, maybe you bring both of them to town, sign them, bam. I've also seen them interested in Flyers forward James Van Riemsdyk. They only have $1.6 million in cap space, and the Flyers likely won't want to retain that much unless they get a decent piece in return. But we'll see, I guess. And then, of course, as well as that, Timo Meier has obviously come up in pretty much every single team's trade rumors. For a lot of the buyers, Meier's going to come up as a prime player. I'm going to mention it pretty much every time. Just get used to that. The Hockey News also says here that even though the Flames are fairly deep on the blue line, they've made a habit of acquiring depth defenders in the past playoff runs. Derek Forbort, Eric Gustafsson, and Oscar Fattenberg are recent examples. And they could do that again. I haven't really seen them interested in any defensive players. Chychrun's obviously the only prime one that's popped up in rumors again and again and again. Haven't really seen much of the Calgary Flames, though, in regards to a defender. But honestly, if there is a depth defender out there somewhere, they'll probably get him. But I would also say one of the biggest wild cards for the Calgary Flames in this trade deadline is Oliver Kylington. He's obviously been in Sweden taking care of personal matters. I think it's Sweden, right? Yes, it's Sweden. Sorry, I had to make sure. I've seen Kylington pop up in rumors of maybe his contract getting moved for more deadline acquisitions. If Kylington was in America, or in Canada per se, playing in the NHL instead of in Sweden, we wouldn't even have to worry about this, but he is definitely a wild card in this year's deadline. Another player that could prove an interesting trade piece could be Matthew Coronato. He's obviously playing in Harvard right now, so obviously that's the juniors. He could possibly come straight to the pros right after this season, so I'm kind of wondering maybe or not Flames will trade him. Who knows, though. But going back to what I said earlier, definitely the biggest piece for the Flames is to acquire some kind of top 6 winger. It's going to definitely cost them a lot. I would imagine Kylington and Coronato may be the 2 that definitely get moved. In terms of draft picks, they really don't have that much this year. They have a first, a second, a fourth, a sixth, and a seventh. So apart from that, really nothing much there. I think they have like a first in 2025 from Florida, but I have no idea anymore. But yeah, for a team that traded for Cale Yarncrook last year, didn't really need that any big players last season, is going to need a big top 6 winger this year. But anyways, that does it for the Flames deadline preview. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. For all of your supporters later, really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below if you're new. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.